Okay, everyone, and welcome back. I'm joined today by Ryonix, otherwise known as just an Aussie Yuri.
G'day everyone, my name is Ryonix.
So, let's go.
In class the next afternoon, I'm two problems into a math logic worksheet when a folded up piece of paper hits me in the head. I'm sure I know who it's from, but I quickly look around the classroom anyway, just in case. No one in this classroom was good at acting casual. I can tell that everyone saw who threw it at me, and looking at the culprit herself, it was obviously Shizune. She isn't even trying to be coy about it. The countryside is so different. At my old school, I would have no idea who it was right now. Opening up the note, it says,
Misha is absent. Help me out today after school. I smell an 8 scene coming.
You have a really weird sense of smell. I don't understand what's with that note. Why can't you just use sign language? A large part of how I learned sign language was by copying Misha's style of signing her words as she speaks. So I end up blurting the sentence out loud as I sign it to Shizune. A slight laugh goes around the room. How awkward. I'll help if I don't have to do a lot.
That's silly. Obviously, if Misha is absent, you have to help as much as 2 people.
I don't know if that really means anything. After all, Misha was complaining yesterday mostly about how Shizune wouldn't let her help her. I don't do much as is either. After pretending to think it over for a bit, I write her a note back telling her I will. I'm actually happy that she asked me, because I've been meaning to talk to her for a long while. It's a good opportunity, but I feel I should at least make it look like I'm putting up some resistance to the idea.
Edgy boy.
Yes, you called. I go back to my worksheet and immediately get stuck on the third problem. After trying to work around it, I casually toss my own note over to Shizune. It says, why is Misha absent? And what's the answer to question 3?
Outcast is a myth.
Doki Doki Doubtcast? I remember those days.
She told me she was sick and her stomach hurt. Misha gets stomach aches a lot, but I wish she'd picked better time for it this week. Exit music, Monica, is that you? Use sign language.
I think she has a stomachache because of the way she sucked down a parfait larger than her head the other day. She gets them quite often, though. Either it's a coincidence or she has a habit of eating things that can put her in debilitating pain.
Oh, Misha's my wife, confirmed. Got it.
I noticed the teacher staring at us disapprovingly. I don't blame him. We're talking in class, with sign language, in quite a visible and distracting way. I try clearing my throat to back out of our conversation, but Shizune doesn't get the hint because she cannot hear you. Well, obviously. Before I try to get the message across again with my hands, however, I can see Shizune notices what's up. She just doesn't care.
Do you still want to know the answer to question 3? I will tell you, but you have to give me the answer for question 25.
Hey, I was just thinking about how a teacher who didn't know sign language could think we were abusing it and using it to cheat. If you were to assume the worst, I can't believe you're actually doing that. And I'm not up to 25.
You wanted to know what the answer to 3 was. You asked first, hypocrite.
You're the student council president. You can't cheat. I don't have time for this, and I think I'm trying the teacher's patience to the breaking point. I'd like to continue taking potshots at her while working on the math problems in front of me, but it would require at least 2 extra hands. Shizune is a bit more creative, and gets around this limitation by using long, semi-broken strings of simpler words. I take a couple of mental notes in between being dizzied by a couple of particularly long equations. Right before the bell rings, she caps her pen and triumphantly slams it on her desk with an ear-popping crack that makes the whole room jump, quickly forgotten because everyone would rather go to lunch than question its origin. After a couple of brief stretches, she gets up and hovers around my left shoulder.
Are you still not done? I was going to ask if you wanted me to hand in yours too while I was up.
Someone distracted me. I had to beg the teacher to give me 9 minutes between now and the end of passing to finish it. It's not easy to solve this one-handed while having a conversation, by the way.
Doing things one-handed is difficult.
You would know.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't happy with the request, wanting to get out of here as much as I do. Since I'm only one problem away from finishing, it looks like Shizune doesn't really believe me. The second that I'm done handing it in, I find myself being dragged to the student council room.
Kinky.
That's... I love you, but no. It's eerily and annoyingly clean. I can't find what I was working on yesterday. Where is everything?
I did some cleaning.
That doesn't tell me anything. See, it's like you forgot where you even put the stuff you put away. Oh well, if I can't find it, I guess I'll just go home.
It's in the drawer, right there.
She's in a salt, so they pull out the posters. What the?
Sorry.
Okay. Fine. So I pull out the posters I was working on and then shuffle them around a little, since she stacked them by color. It's not that I'm taunting her. I just have my own system. Although I doubt she would believe me if I were to tell her.
No, I dropped my vape on the keyboard.
Confirmation, Illy has a vape. I like it when things are a little messy. It's more natural, and a time saver. It's all right where I left it, and I don't have to go looking through shelves just to find what I was working on yesterday.
Lazy.
That's not true. I'm not lazy. You just always go too far. I quickly glance at her desk, a memo pad neatly placed at one corner. Behind it, a small desk calendar with each box filled with notes in a neat but microscopic handwriting. On the right, 3 boxes of pens in blue, black, and red. Look, you even put the pens back in their original box at the end of the day. Each color-coded and everything. I don't think that can even be called being a neat freak. God, words.
What do you do with them? Throw them in a mug on your desk?
Hey, I think that's being organized enough.
You're so disorganized, you can't even comb your hair down properly.
That hurts. Ow. It's not like I don't try, it just won't stay flat. I pick up a box of pens and quickly pop it open to see if she also puts them in so that they're all facing the same direction. She understands what I'm thinking and doesn't look very amused. It turns out that the box wasn't closed properly on the bottom, and as soon as I pick it up, they immediately pour out of it like a waterfall. My fault. I'll get them, don't worry. I bend down to pick up the pens, forgetting that with her attention focused on them, she couldn't have possibly seen me signing to her. Shizune's head bumps into my chest. Not very hard, but it unbalances me enough to make me fall over. I laugh it off and expect her to do the same. When she stiffens and backs away from me instead, a feeling of dread begins to creep over me. Of course the H scene starts right when it fucking hits 3 a.m. in my time and I have to leave soon. That is a weird reaction. I start to think about why she would have such a strange reaction. It's pretty obvious that she had a reaction. She just bumped headfirst into someone with a heart condition and a reaction. Shizune would know I have one, having seen the rows and rows of pills lying on the edge of my dresser. Or at the very least, she would know I have something severe enough to require that much medication, but not visible at a glance. So she is treating me like I'm made of glass. For her, it's the natural way to react. I haven't forgotten how she freaked out back when Emmy knocked into me. Why would it be any different for her? I'm sure she is remembering that right now. I can see it on her face. She looks angry at herself. It would be a good opportunity to bring up that time. Even though I don't want to drag that back up, it would be a good idea to. It would clear the air. Still, I'm afraid, and end up saying nothing. Partly because as I imagine having to draw her attention from the floor, and then having to sign what kind of a cripple I am to her one gesture at a time, the idea begins to seem more and more depressing. Taking a seat, I decide to just try and finish up these posters to get my mind off of it. There are some that I don't remember making, from the wall-to-wall text in ultra-neat handwriting. I can tell Shizune must have done these. That means that the remainder must have been done by Misha. They are a lot more visual, with cute little stylized pictures of us on them. I don't know how I feel about these being used as a mascot character, but I'm not really thrilled by it. Some time passes, long enough for the sun to start setting. I hear Shizune putting down her pen and cracking her knuckles methodically, one at a time. It's so loud in the silence of the room that I look up, wondering if she was trying to get my attention. Although it wasn't what she intended, when she notices me looking at her, Shizune begins to sign without skipping a beat.
Let's take a break.
I'm surprised you would say that.
It's okay. I'm almost done anyway, and I'm hungry. Aren't you?
A little.
I'm really hungry.
We could order something.
I was thinking of you. I already have something to eat.
Where? She produces a cinnamon bun from under her desk,
Sayori, no!
raising it to head level slowly like a magician levitating a rock.
But there's only one. Not enough for both of us.
Demon face. Dramatic. I can tell what this means. A feeling of deja vu. For fuck's sake. A feeling of deja vu briefly washes over me. We could just split it.
That's no fun. So boring. Let's play shogi for it.
She already has the board out. That desk must have everything in it. Not chess.
Hi, I made a cameo. Oh crap, I'm getting eaten.
Ah, God, this always happens. Jesus.
Chess has boring promotions. This is better.
I don't know about that. Well, I'm actually pretty decent at shogi, so this is fine.
Is that so? Okay, we can make it a little more interesting then. Each move has to be completed in 30 seconds. You can add a rule too.
No thanks. Anything I could add would only hurt me more than it would help. A 30-second time limit is already too tight for me. You're making me regret thinking it was alright to brag a little. After Shizune wins the right to go first in a quick coin toss, she immediately starts playing with the aim of promoting all of her pieces as soon as possible. It seems like a very basic playstyle, and I can't help thinking it might be a trap of some sort.
It's Shoujo! Everything's a trap.
It's not, though. The draw of this game to Shizune appears to be the fact that she can upgrade her pieces and steal mine. She's very good at it, but it makes her predictable. I end up doing a little better than I'd expected to. The 30-second time limit is pretty painful, though. The game ends in a draw. At this point, I think you're supposed to either go for a rematch or tally the pieces for points. Shizune doesn't want to go in again in the interest of time, but winning on points clearly doesn't satisfy her.
Yes, Via.
She sits there, shifting a silver general from one edge to the other as she contemplates which of those two options she'll go for. It takes so long that I think she has forgotten about the bet. Eventually, she stops fiddling with the shogi piece and puts it down.
Is Misha angry at me? Oh. But it's actually me who's that way. Like Misha said, always trying to pull people close to me and then shutting them out. And that's how I've treated her, which makes me a bad friend. And it feels like I did the same thing to you too. Then, so I guess I'm a bad girlfriend too. Even if Misha says that you might as well replace her. I'm angry that I screwed things up enough for it to get this out of hand. All I wanted was to...
She pauses to look for the right words, tinting her fingers in concentration.
make people happy, I think. Even though that seems like a simple way to put it.
As she rests her head against her hand, Shizune's bangs fall delicately across her eyes, hidden behind those polished glasses reflecting just the tiniest bit of light. It may be wrong to think so, but right now, she seems especially beautiful, like a more complete person. I can hear the American in my voice. This is not good. It feels like this is my first chance to respond to her outpouring of emotions. Replacing Misha as Shizune's interpreter. Misha must be joking. It took all my energy to keep up with her just now, her signing filled with gestures that I've never seen before. Likely their habits picked up from Misha and developed from years of them being together. I can never replace someone so close to her. I like you because I like you, not because I got tricked into it by you. Despite how hard she tried anyway, I continued to stare back into her eyes, as sharp as ever. First time I saw them, they had seemed a bit intimidating to me, like the eyes of a predator. That hasn't changed, which I find reassuring.
I still want to make people happy.
Starting with Misha? Shizune looks a bit annoyed that I would imply she would start with anyone else, and smiles confidently, as though a friend's sadness is a physical opponent she can just strangle into submission.
Of course. Obviously. Naturally.
Taking off her glasses, she leans back in her chair and lets out a sigh. It's the first time I've seen her without them on, but I don't get a good look before she slips them back on.
You're so pretty.
Aww.
But I'm too tired to start today. First thing tomorrow. Do you want to help?
Yeah.
And I have other student council stuff you could help me with while you're at it.
Beloved, would you be able to move your mouse? It's just right on Shizune.
No, thank you.
No worries. Although it turns out that there isn't much other work at all. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here
I'm
we
just
go.
kind of bracing myself because I have no idea what's coming.
I don't either. Should be interesting.
Sounds like Kenji.
Oh, God. There's no school today, so I expected to be able to sleep in late. Unfortunately, I'm awakened by someone mercilessly pounding on my door at 8 in the morning. At first, I think it could be Kenji, but when my shouts of annoyance go unanswered, I realize it's Shizune. She immediately backs away from the door when I open it, quickly concealing something behind her back. Kind of ominous.
Oh my.
What's that? Is it a surprise? I don't really like surprises. The displeased expression on her face says that she wants me to stop being such a wet blanket. Stop being such a fucking wet blanket! But she's too busy fumbling with what's behind her back to sign it. 10 points to whoever gets that reference, by the way. It must be frustrating for her, because seconds later she swings the object out proudly, and also a little dangerously.
Ta-da! A picnic blanket. Bah, a picnic basket. We can have lunch together, the three of us. No, the last picnic I had,
What picnic was that?
the one on the roof with Whiskey and Kenji?
You say that as if I was there. I was
Oh.
not.
Oh. Yeah, I should show you that.
It's not really a basket. It looks more like a plastic bag. Taking a quick look inside, I can see that most of the food inside is also store-bought, not homemade. Some items still have the price stickers on. What?
I'm amused by that. I don't know.
Okay, I thought you were making fun of my accent again.
Oh, stop it!
There's a very diverse selection here, though. Even a tiny tin of caviar. I'm slowly becoming more impressed with this lunch. I pick a grape out of there and pop it in my mouth.
Don't just take things like that. I spent all night perfecting this final weapon. Oh. Why?
Cool. I just love how she says final weapon and your first instinct is to go, aw. I love you.
I love you.
Shizune places it down on the ground to free up her hands and immediately starts playfully tapping it between her feet like a soccer ball. Definitely not what you should do to anything you're going to call a final weapon.
Oh my god. All part of my get Misha to stop being so depressed plan. I stayed up all last night working on it. When we tried to order in last time, Misha barely got anything and used it as an excuse to leave early. I won't let her get off so easily this time. Food is already here. She'll have to sit down and eat with us. It's the perfect bait. doesn't everything look irresistible? I tried to make it myself, but I don't know how to make it all look fancy, so I ended up buying everything. It still looks delicious, doesn't it? It should be.
She's very perky today, juiced up on the thought of cheering Misha up. Although it's odd to see her so happy about it. I know that she's just as unsure now as she was yesterday. The only thing that has changed is that by viewing it as another sort of challenge for herself, she can put her worries aside and throw herself into it recklessly. You know what I realized? There's no antagonist, no bully, no one to cockblock or anything, not even Hisao's attack.
You know
There
what?
is. Fucking Misha was very
Actually,
problematic.
Yeah. Not to mention Lily and Shizune. I mean, that's a hell of a conflict.
That's true. But that didn't really stop the relationship in any way.
Yeah.
It's true, there's no like huge obvious bully or like there is in a lot of DDLC mods, but there is definitely
Yeah, there's
someone-
no Datsuki to worry about, or...
Yeah, it's not an obvious antagonist, and it's not like a purely evil antagonist, but
Right, it's just
Misha
kind of...
is one.
Yeah.
It has worked well enough for Shizune so far. It wouldn't surprise me if it's the only way she knows how to live. It's a little early, though.
It's already 8 in the morning. That's late. Even Misha gets up at 8 or 9. She goes to bed at 7 p.m., but that isn't important.
Goes to bed at 7 p.m. and gets up at 8 or 9. How long does she sleep? That's more than 12 hours.
I mean, when I'm
Jesus.
ill, that's about normal.
When you're ill, that's her regular sleeping thing. And to be fair, you've got like years of sleep debt on your side.
Oh, God.
Sometimes the story doesn't need an antagonist if the circumstances surrounding the character are antagonistic on their own. Yes, for example,
Exactly.
if the main character was like, I don't know, self-destructive yandere or something. Does that really get you?
Carry on.
It's very important. Shizune ignores me, gagging my hands by taking them in hers instead of a more proper rebuttal. The way she lingers against me a moment longer than expected feels really comforting.
The point is, she's awake right now, walking around somewhere. Let's go find her.
She sprints out the door impatiently, and her gusto as she drags me along looking for Misha makes me feel more like I'm following a hunter on a safari than looking for a mutual friend. We don't have to look very hard. Even cropped short, her pink hair stands out. The fact that she's just meandering around the grounds out in the open makes it even easier. Now I'm sounding like a safari hunter. Even cropped short, her pink hair stands out against the wilderness.
I saw it coming. Oh, God.
Of course you did. Like I'd pass up an opportunity like that. Misha!
Huh?
We were just looking for you.
It's a good day for a picnic. You should join us. We even have caviar. Not sturgeon, of course, but really tasty. Caviar? Surgeon?
Apparently finding it annoying to have to explain anything at length with only one hand, Shizune gives up quickly.
Fish eggs. What? It tastes good.
Sorry, Shi-chan. I think I'll pass for today.
When Misha starts to walk away, Shizune holds the bag out towards me, needing me to take it so that her hands can be free. As soon as it's out of her hand, she darts in front of Misha, cutting her off.
I made so much food, though.
Sorry. I'm just not hungry right now.
When are you going to be hungry, then?
Shi-chan, that's impossible to know.
You can guess.
The tension between them infuriates Shizune, and she's trying to deal with it by trying to tear through it. But that approach isn't going to work. I thought and hoped that Misha had gotten herself together, but I guess she was just cut too deep by what happened. In that case, it's really out of anyone's hands. I believe that Shizune might understand that on some level. Even if she didn't, she wouldn't have any doubts at all. Because she can't speak, though, I've learned to notice her hesitation. It's very clear. She might as well be screaming.
What's up, Freddy?
Welcome to the stream.
Welcome. And yeah, Artie, I've never tasted caviar. We don't really have it over in Australia.
Yeah, I've never tried
I think
it
it's one
either.
of those things that's like, I think it's one of those things that's just expensive because it's rare, but it doesn't taste anything amazing.
Right.
It's just fish eggs. Misha waves her hands in front of her, not wanting to continue the discussion any further, and quickly slips away. Shizune fumes silently, reluctant to let her go, but having no way to keep her here. As Misha's back grows smaller in the distance, I wonder where she's heading off to. Is Shizune wondering the same thing as she bites her lip in frustration? I want to touch her reassuringly on the shoulder, but I stop myself, not knowing if it's the right thing to do. Not because she looks fragile, vulnerable, or sad, it's the opposite. After a while, her expression belies no emotion at all, only contemplation. Suddenly she whirls around.
Now all this food is going to go to waste.
Yeah.
That makes me mad.
Although it's obvious Shizune's more hurt than mad, the bag dangling from my hand feels like it's filled with lead.
Let's go on a date.
Let's use it then.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know.
The roof. Bad shit happens on the roof, y'all. It's my favorite spot.
Not everything bad happens on the roof. Good shit happens on the roof too. A wry smile appears on her face, disappearing just as quickly. On the roof, I immediately crack open the caviar, ignoring a derisive look from Shizune all the while. I end up putting it down immediately. Where are the toast points?
I didn't make any. Like I told you, I bought everything.
Not toast points, though.
Why is that important? Anyway, they don't sell just toast points. That would be stupid.
I bet they do.
Maybe in stores for the exceptionally lazy. Not here. Why don't you use a tortilla chip?
A tortilla chip is not the same. My god, Hisao, are you trying to be difficult?
Apparently. They're both triangles. Stop being such a princess. I didn't know there was a proper way to eat caviar. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
It's not the same thing at all. I can't be decadent like this. And anyway, how can she not know? She lives in a huge mansion. Shizune takes the opportunity to scoop half the tin onto a single chip in the meantime. Hey! I'm sure it doesn't even taste good like that. There is too much food here for two people. Because we can't communicate with each other while we eat, both Shizune and I have a lot of time to sit in silence and think about the fact that Misha, the person she set all this up for, isn't here.
It's annoying that she isn't here. I can't even enjoy my meal like this.
I stare at the paper cup next to her, still half full of juice. I thought you didn't want all this food to go to waste.
I wanted Misha to be here too. It's the whole point. I wasn't able to accomplish what I wanted to, so it doesn't taste good. You should eat it. Eat more.
I want the fried things, though. You keep eating them all, even though you say they don't taste good.
Fried things are always delicious. There's always an exception for them.
You'll get fat. I think you're being too aggressive.
It's like I told you yesterday. I'm only trying to cheer her up.
Yeah, but it seems like you're planning a military campaign.
I'm only trying to take it seriously. And this is the only way I know how to do it seriously. I feel so powerless. I hate it. Can't even yell at her too, even though I want to. Yelling is for serious occasions, right?
Yeah.
You should yell at Misha for me. You can tell her that I want her to stop being so down. Even if she feels sad and alone, it's no reason to stay gloomy forever.
Yeah, just tell her to get rid of her depression.
Right?
Why don't you?
I already did. Over a game of dice. Under over, to be exact. I won 5 times. Shizune, please stop.
Only if the two of them would take so much pride in winning games of pure chance.
Then, I tried to talk to her, but it didn't go so well, obviously.
Well, so did I. I tried and failed.
My goal has always been to do everything better, though.
Yeah, your one-upmanship is really something.
Holy hell. I failed too. That's why I want your help. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do anymore.
For someone like Shizune, who has only ever interacted with the world by locking horns with every obstacle in her path, understanding only goes so far. Dang it. I want to tell her that she doesn't have to worry, that she is great at cheering people up, because she managed to cheer me up my first week here. In retrospect, I must have looked like kind of a dick, being in such a sour mood from the moment I came here, even though I don't think I was being unreasonable. What are you giggling at?
Nothing. Mm-mm.
Nothing? Right, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Even having months to digest it, finding out that you have a heart defect like I did is hard to deal with. I'd had much less time to mull over suddenly being transferred to Yamaku on top of that. Spending the festival with Shizune really helped me out of a rut. I was happy, enough to forget that the entire time it had felt as though she were manipulating me. I understand now that I had allowed myself to be manipulated. Even though I felt like I was at the bottom of the world, I still wanted to have a normal life again. I'm sure because I enjoy what I have now. I think it must be the same for everyone, including Misha. Everyone wants someone there to pull them up out of their self-pity.
Freddy, I hate to. Oh dear. Oh, haha. 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 Freddy, I hate to tell you this, but I'm already psycho.
Oh yeah, she was there long before this. It's just that Misha always wanted Shizune to be that person, but because they can't be together, I think Misha feels that she can't accept Shizune's hand, and that frustrates Shizune. But if she could cheer up a stranger like me, then she'll die trying with Misha. I can see it in her eyes too. Though she tries to treat it like any other problem in her life, Shizune cannot do that with Misha's depression. Her thought processes are entirely different. In some ways more careful. In some ways more reckless and frenetic. She cares that much more. So yeah, Misha was used by Dan Salvato as inspiration for Natsuki and Sayori.
Mm-hmm. And, Freddy, you're good, my dude. You're okay.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Nobody's judging you here.
Right?
I end up not saying anything, partly because sitting next to her like this, just the two of us, is pleasant enough in itself that I don't want to interrupt the moment with a question. And partly for a more cowardly reason. I started to think they weren't, but I don't know if her actions that day might not have been an afterthought, or even a fluke, just a collection of coincidences. I don't know if that would change anything, but I'm uncomfortable thinking about it.
Kaiju, that's probably the most polite insult I have ever received, and I love you for it.
They're not peculiarities, they're things to love about her.
I love you too.
The fence behind me trembles slightly, and I turn to see that it's because Shizune has fallen asleep leaning against it. Considering she was up all night, it's not surprising. Freddy, be nice. Where does all that motivation come from? Not just in regards to Misha. I'm cynical, so it's hard for me to just accept that anyone can simply be that strong. My first thought was that maybe it's because she hates herself. It's very plausible. Leaning against her, I feel sad knowing that that might be the case, but it could be that we're similar in that we both want to be better people.
I mean,
That's what I meant. Just think about what you say before you say it.
I think at the end of the day, I mean, everybody wants to do better, to be better versions of themselves, you know?
Exactly. It's like nobody wants to be worse than they are.
Right.
It seems like I ate too much yesterday, because I wake up in the morning feeling just nauseous enough for it to be a problem. I really can't postpone going into town for shopping, though. So despite wanting to roll over and sleep it away, I force myself to get up and dress instead. It's okay, Freddy. Just keep in mind that it's hard to read sarcasm over text, so jokes like that, just be careful about how you word it. Somewhere between buying toothpaste and a few other groceries, I end up walking it off. Then I feel hungry. After stopping for breakfast, it hits me how much time has gone by. I hadn't expected to be out this long at all. I'm not even sure if I bothered to lock my door. I should really get back.
No, kiddo.
Bro, I 100% get it. I am the most sarcastic person you will ever meet.
Jesus Christ, this one. I mean...
No, you want to say something? You got something you want to share with the class?
Nope.
When I get back to the dorm, I see Hideaki standing in front of my room from the entrance. I can think of few things more unexpected, and I can't help thinking I might have a heart attack just from the surprise. Fortunately, it doesn't happen. As soon as he sees me, he says hello in his usual detached way. I'm a little slow to reply to him, so he repeats the greeting without missing a beat.
Hello. Something wrong?
I'm just surprised to see you here. Not as surprised as I could have been, since it's impossible to mistake him for anyone else. I'd recognize those weird clothes anywhere. Come to think of it, I've really surrounded myself with weird, distinctive-looking people lately. Hideaki's head lolls slightly to one side, a little too easily.
Why? Is it unusual to see someone's family come to see them?
Well, yeah, actually. So Hideaki isn't such a robot after all. In fact, it's almost as if he's more caught off guard by the fact that he even can be caught off guard, but he recovers quickly. Yeah, let's just forget everything that's happened. Everyone enjoy the stream. If you don't, you're all banned. Nevertheless, in that brief moment, he looks his age. That uncomfortable side of his seems like the more honest, and I wouldn't mind seeing more of it. Not so much, though, that I go out of my way to pry. Only Shizune would be that zealous, that my thoughts get so far as proof she is rubbing off on me. I think that you'd have a reason, that's all. My god, words, they escape me.
There is one.
See? Anyway, we can talk while we're looking for her. That's why you're here, right?
Shizune is in the student council room. I was looking for you. We might take a trip soon, a family trip. Do you think she'd want to come with us?
Yeah, I don't know. She's kind of been on the warpath lately with a lot of stuff. Once she's focused on something...
Oh, sorry.
I see how it is. Once she's focused on something, she won't just drop it. I guess you would know that. Hideaki looks much more at ease walking around than I did my first week. So, this isn't your first time here? Just throwing it out there. Of course, completely ignoring the surrounding environment could just run in the family. It'd explain why Hideaki seems so distant from Shizune. I get the feeling there's more to it than just her deafness.
No, but this is the first time I could walk around so much. It's kind of weird here. Bumped into a person who told me women are not allowed in the dorms. After I told him I'm not a woman, he told me I was misleading, and then accused me of being an assassin. Kenji.
No, what?
I was warned that he was not only invincible, but strong enough to probably destroy the building with a punch, or at least knock over the painting hanging in the hallway. By the way, that painting is actually screwed to the wall.
Yeah, that's the guy across the hall from me. He's okay.
I see. Oh, you left your door open. It was unlocked when I came here.
I'm a little annoyed that Hideaki knows that. The only way he could is if he had opened my door, but the feeling passes. It doesn't matter. I have nothing to hide. Or steal.
your soccer ball's really nice.
That's one of the things that doesn't matter.
If you're a soccer player, a soccer ball is very important.
I guess it is. The thought makes me smile.
I'm here because my father bought a new phone and wanted to update Shizune in case she needs to call him. I thought that you should know too, since you're her boyfriend, aren't you?
Yeah. Why?
Just in case there's something wrong or she needs anything.
It isn't what I meant, but I'll go along. Even if she did, she probably wouldn't call.
That is how she is.
Well, if you know, coming all the way here for that though, you could have updated her via email.
He does not like using emails.
That's so old-fashioned. Don't tell me he still does business through regular mail or something. Silence. Now it's my turn to feel awkward. Is Hideaki taking it literally, or did I hit the mark? Nah, I'm sure that what it really comes down to is that he doesn't want to see his daughter and stay in contact with her. In the end, they are still family after all, even though they play at being at each other's throats.
Oh, dear Lord
Oh,
in heaven,
God.
here we go.
What?
You gonna be okay?
I'll be fine. The door to the student council room is open, and Hideaki and I walk in on Jigoro in mid-rant. He sees us, but decides that it's not something worth stopping rambling at Shizune over. This is really shaking my faith in the previous assumption. When I was in the student council, our room was smaller, cooler too, like working out of a meat locker. Not like you spoiled kids. What a waste. Sitting here in a giant room, doing nothing. Aren't there only 3 of you? That makes having so many desks only seem like an unnecessary display of mindless decadence. Appalling. You must use the desks you need and not one more. It is part of my code. It may be odd of me to think so, but hearing only one half of a conversation is pretty strange. Also, that's some code. Now that I've arrived, he changes the subject and starts talking about the reason he's here. Hideaki and I are going on a trip. What are you doing? Does everyone who uses sign language mumble while they do it?
Oh, God, Jigoro, no.
No, but I'm just an amateur. It helps me think. It's kind of like force of habit. Just an amateur. Unbelievable. Fine. He turns back to Shizune just in time to catch her shaking her head from side to side. Are you sure you won't be coming along? She reiterates the gesture. Fine. Can you tell her to call me if she needs anything? Yes. I really think sending an email would have been easier, though. God, are you trying to poke the bear in the cage?
Alright. Oh, God.
I'm not going to read emails on my phone. If she won't speak, she can call Hideaki. I suppose if I have to be reached, you would have to call me. Or that other girl would have to call me. Actually, all 3 of you can just call Hideaki. And with that, he swiftly turns and leaves, Hideaki trailing behind him. A long trip for something that took 5 minutes. Neither of them can express their feelings very well. In Shizune's case, I have to question whether she would if she could. It explains a lot, but she doesn't seem unhappy with the arrangement. Even so, I wonder if she might be. When the door closes behind them, leaving Shizune and me by ourselves, she lets out a deep breath that seems to echo in the silence of the room.
It's totally ridiculous asking me to go on a trip. The timing couldn't have been worse. It overlaps the student council elections, for one. Second, I haven't even cheered up Misha. If you consider that, it's annoying to even have anything else to think about.
Yeah, but you might be too focused on all of that stuff right now. Shizune adjusts her glasses roughly.
Completely 100% right. The minute I decided I was going to cheer up Misha, everything else went on the back burner, I suppose.
I think your dad might care about you more than he lets on.
Hey, Bun Bun, you're good. Work happens. I know.
So then it could be a good idea.
No.
And then again, more firmly as if for both of us.
No. After coming this far, I can't take a break. Vacation would be jarring. It would be like waking up in a different life. Yesterday was like my vacation, so now we have to go all in. I'm sorry, but it's just how I am.
I remember what Yuko said, that she found Shizune brave in a kind of way. I think I understand what she meant, and I have to agree. Even though it could also be called recklessness and foolishness and pointless stubbornness, I guess you could call it bravery too. Idiocy and bravery are very similar. However, I can see that there is a fundamental flaw in Shizune's thinking that I hadn't noticed until now. I'm sure that Shizune's reflected longer and more arduously than I could about where she messed up to create such a bad situation between her and Misha. However, as typical for her, she wouldn't let it hold her back and immediately set out to fix the problem. This completely ignores a large part of the problem, Misha herself. Moving from critical introspection to holding Misha up as part of a goal causes the person to get lost in the shuffle. Shizune has said a lot in the past few days, but nothing about how Misha feels. Shizune's way of thinking is abnormal. Few normal people would reject a friend and then expect things to go back to the way they were so easily. Shizune does because she sees life as, if I had to put it simply, capable of being segmented and compartmentalized. Misha, like anyone else, sees it as a whole experience, a long, continuous journey where one moment of heartache can follow you forever. For Shizune, an event is an event, and few of them cross over. Life is compartmentalized around triumphs, failures, and decisions, where each one stands as its own story. It's why the thought of a vacation is jarring to her. It's why she can only appreciate people's immediate emotions. It's exactly how someone obsessed with living in the moment would think, really. Likewise, Shizune can see Misha as a friend, but I doubt that she has ever thought of Misha as anything more until recently, or questioned anything about her. Misha is Misha would be enough for her, even if to Misha it must be unbelievably stifling. Shizune is just Shizune to herself. It's likely she doesn't even think about the after effects of her actions in the long term, as long as they stir up other people's lives. To Misha, though, I'm sure it made her seem almost heroic, like Yuko admiring her bravery, and even myself. And Shizune's thoughts on that sentiment are that it was good she could touch someone's life, but it ends there. It's easy to captivate, much harder to nurture. On to the next thing. Thinking of life in terms of almost completely isolated events has a tendency to isolate a person, too. Words, please. Though she's trying to remedy it now, the point remains. There's simply no way Shizune could have avoided hurting Misha. Her emotional investment in Shizune was something Shizune couldn't account for, so she did combine with her personality. It was inevitable. Both of them have pretty much told me that all bits and pieces over the past couple of months. I've known them.
Beloved, would you like a break?
It just keeps going. It won't let me leave. In the middle of considering the differences, an idea begins to take shape in my mind. Are you working on your plan right now? The second. Your cheer up Misha plan.
Of course. I was thinking about it the whole time I was being yelled at.
Flicking her glasses up the bridge of her nose with an oddly triumphant air, she taps her finger against her temple.
It's multitasking.
Really? Isn't it more like you're able to concentrate on something like that because you can't hear? Well, whatever. When I ask her what she thinks of mine, it turns out we both arrived at a similar idea. Alright, see you later, Bun.
Bye, Bun Bun. Oh, okay. Oh.
What?
Kaiju.
Ah.
Okay. Okay.
Although it makes me feel kind of uneasy since we're talking about a human being, the first step is to corner Mish. Oh god.
That's a great idea.
Get her in a corner. Small creatures always fight when they're cornered.
We really do.
Though the situation is a little too much like something out of a cop drama for me, it's come to this because talking to her normally is proving to be near impossible. But we do have classes together, even the very first class of the day. Although it takes a while for the announcement to come, the second that I hear we're going to be working in groups today, Shizune and I try to make sure Misha is in ours. You know, I think Muto assigns a suspiciously large amount of group work and self-study, don't you think so?
But it's easy, so it's okay, right?
Yeah, there's other stuff that I've been thinking about lately that might not be okay, though. Misha nods after each sentence, then brushes it all aside.
I thought about it, and I don't do enough work when I work with you and Shi-chan, so I'm going to try harder today, so don't distract me, He-chan. I'll have to stay focused.
That was an annoyingly transparent dodge. Shizune doesn't look too happy either, since Misha didn't bother to sign any of it, opting to twirl a pen in her hands instead. From the shaky way she was doing it, I'm sure it was so she wouldn't sign anything inadvertently. From the way Misha looks, distracted and uneasy, I doubt it's because she wants to keep Shizune out of the loop for any malicious reason, although it's still obviously a way of distancing Shizune from herself. Shizune wants to talk to you.
Can't it wait until later, He-chan? No.
Why not now?
We're in the middle of class.
Now she's spinning a pen in each hand. I'm beginning to think her signing has turned into a kind of nervous tic for her. This is not a good replacement, although the sight of her dual wielding is pretty impressive. After class, then. After class, I don't waste a second bringing it back up. Jesus Christ, my dude. As everyone else files out of the classroom, leaving the three of us alone, Misha takes increasingly longer glances in every direction except forward. Do you want to get something to eat?
Why do you and Shi-chan keep asking me if I want to eat something, He-chan?
Because we're all headed to the cafeteria, and we haven't eaten together in a long time, so why not?
Is this about the student council?
Taking Shizune's lack of a reply as a mission, Misha sighs.
Shi-chan, is that all you ever think about?
Before Shizune can reply, she leaves. I have to say, I'm not left feeling very confident after what just happened.
Ouch.
Neither of us were expecting it to go smoothly, but it would have been nice. Reading my mind, Shizune curls a finger around her glasses for a while before signing.
I know what you're thinking, but no, it's not that I think we should give her some space now. I told you, I wouldn't give up so easily.
Yeah, well, now I'm starting to wonder if it's not too soon.
Cold feet. Well, I'm not going to. That would be giving up on her. There's a fine line between helping someone and smothering them, but I just want Misha to pull herself together and stop acting so weird. I know she can do it, even if she wants to try. People don't change overnight. If they could, the world would be a much easier place.
Okay, you win. Then I guess this is the part where we split up and look for hers. Though I'm not the only one who is really supposed to find her.
If I run into her first, I'll call your cell phone.
Smiling, Shizune takes out her cell phone, turning it on to prepare. I notice that she has an extremely high number of unread messages, and looking at her expression, so does she. Twirling it around by the strap a couple of times, she grimaces.
I don't like using this thing. Why can't I just snap my fingers?
Then what? I'm not a dog, and it doesn't travel as far as a phone signal. You're having a lot of fun with this, aren't you? Shaking her head from side to side, she continues.
It's obvious where she will go. I can't look for her on the school grounds. She would want to go as far away as she can. You check the tea shop. It's usually empty this early. Misha loves to go there. She feels like skipping class, and she loves the parfaits they have there.
You really know a lot about her. But she would overthink it and turn into something that would seem a lot more backhanded than it actually is, so I choose to just nod and leave it instead until I feel her holding onto my sleeve. What? I say instinctively, forgetting that she can't hear me.
It feels nice that I don't have to do it all by myself anymore, because I can trust you. I'm really happy. Ouch!
What, are you okay?
Yeah, like, Shizune, the girlfriend we cheated on, just said she can trust us.
Right. Right, yeah, That is why. It makes me happy to hear it. I can't think of a way to respond and end up only nodding again. Keep in mind, I would like to point out you cheated on Shizune. I had no part in it. Heading outside, I catch a glimpse of pink hair behind some other girl's head, and as I head that way, I realize that this isn't the way you go if you want to leave school.
Which one of us voiced the actual scene?
You and Sweetie.
Try again.
No. It's the way to the student council room. If I wanted to avoid Shizune, I wouldn't head there. It's strange that Misha would be going in that direction then. Maybe she wants to talk things over with Shizune. In which case, I have to wonder if letting things play out naturally would be such a bad idea after all, especially if it seems to be going in a good direction. Suddenly Misha stops and spins around, catching me by surprise.
Of course. Surprise, Yi-chan! Were you looking for me? Had a feeling.
I was going to say, hey, I was just looking for you, but I suppose that's no good now. She isn't even finished with her sentence before she blows past me, heading for the exit. I have to admit that Misha is infuriatingly sharper than I'd expected. Also, surprisingly fast. Although it's more physical activity than I think I should be getting, I managed to catch up with her halfway to the gate. You're really being the rudest woman in the world right now. Can you just stop trying to run away for 1 second? I want to talk to you. Misha turns on her heel, looking mildly amused, and raises her hands as if to tell me to go on. Now that I've got her attention, though, it's hard to think of the right thing to say. Where are you going now?
Shanghai.
Can I go with you then? Waiting for her to answer feels like an eternity. It's almost as if I can hear my wristwatch ticking off the individual seconds.
Okay then, Yi-chan.
I get the sense that she only agreed because she doesn't want to argue anymore today.
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and ring those bells. That's all I have for today. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye, everyone.